give you a little feedback on some of the questions that you had trouble with. We're going to start with 2b. So let the graph of f of x equals x squared b is transformed to obtain the graph of g. Describe the transformation. So the graph of g is this one up here, g of x equals x squared plus bx plus 11. And in part A, we already found that b was 4. So we have that the equation for this function is y equals x squared plus 4x plus 11. So now we want to find the transformation from x squared that's going to give me this one. So a lot of you said it goes up 11, which wasn't exactly correct. So there's two ways of solving this problem. One of the ways is to complete the square. The other one is to find the vertex and then plug it back into the function. Okay, so let's do the completing the square first. So I have y equals x squared plus 4x. I'm going to add something here, plus 11, and I'm going to subtract the same thing here so that I don't change the function. So what I need to add is the linear coefficient divided by 2 squared. So 4 divided by 2 squared. This is what we need to add in order to complete the square. So 4 divided by 2 is 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So this is going to be plus 4, and here minus 4. Okay, plus 4 minus 4 so that the equation doesn't change. And now we would have y equals x squared plus 4x plus 4, and 11 minus 4 is plus 7. And we're going to focus on this part here. That's a complete square. Okay, that's a perfect square. So I can rewrite it as x plus 2 to the power of 2 plus 7. Okay? So now I have the transformation. X is being added to 2. So that means that it's being shifted to the left 2 units. And this plus 7 means that it's being shifted up 7 units. Okay, so the transformation is a left translation of 2 units and translation up of 7 units. Or you can write it as a vector like this. Okay, left 2 units, up 7 units. All right, the alternative method is to find the vertex. And we know that the vertex occurs when x is equal to negative b over 2a. Okay, so in this case, negative b would be negative 4 over 2a would be 2. A is 1 in this case, 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. So it occurs at negative 2. So right there, we already know that the shift from the origin to where the new vertex is negative 2. So 2 units to the left. And then to find the vertical shift, or the vertical translation, what we do is plug negative 2 back into the function. So y equals negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 11. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and then plus 11. 4 minus 8, negative 4 plus 7 plus 11 is equal to 7. So 7 units up. Okay, both methods are valid, and both methods you get the same response. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at question 4c. Find the equation of the line DC. Write your answer in the form ax plus by plus d is equal to 0, where a, b, and d are integers. Not a lot of people got this question correct. I think nobody got it correct. So let's take a look at how to do it. So first of all, we're finding the equation of the line DC. So we need the slope. And the slope is found in the previous question. So the slope is negative 3 over 4. And now another thing that we need is to find a point that we can plug into the equation. And we can either use point D that they give me directly here, or I can use point C that I found from part A. So either point would be fine. So what I'm going to do is use point D because they're giving it to me right there. So let's so the equation of a line would be y minus y1 is equal to the slope factor of x minus x1. All right, that's the general equation of a line. Now we're going to plug in a point. So let's plug in point D. Or you can plug in the point from part A, whichever one is okay. So y minus 1 is equal to the slope, which we found was -3/4, factor of x, and then this point is -3, so I can put +3 here. Okay? So now I can multiply. I want to get rid of the 4, so I'm going to multiply everything by 4. So I would have 4y minus 4 is equal to -3, and then the 4 cancels with this factor, so x plus 3. Okay, so let's distribute this here. -3x minus 9 is equal to 4y minus 4. So now let's bring everything to this side. So I have positive 3x plus 4y, and -9 plus -4 plus 9 would be plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, notice that a, b, and d are integers. They need to be integers. Okay, so some of you left as fractions. Other people use the y equals mx plus b, and all of the people, or almost everyone that did this type of equation, had an incorrect b. So there was a problem in your isolation and you found an incorrect b, and that's why you didn't get the correct answer. Okay, so that's it. All right, now we're going to look at question 5. Part B, nobody got it right. Part A, a lot of people got U1, or I'm sorry, U2, but then U3 and U4 were calculated incorrectly. So we're going to take a look at this one. It says the sum of the terms of a sequence follow the pattern. The first sum is 1 plus k, the second sum is 5 plus 3k, the third sum is 12 plus 7k, the fourth sum is 22 plus 15k, where k is an integer. So given that u1 is 1 plus k, find u2, u3, and u4. So let's begin with u2. Okay, so first of all, S2 is equal to u1 plus u2. Remember that this is the sum of the first two terms. Okay, so I know that S2 is 5 plus 3k, and this is equal to the first term, 1 plus k, plus the second term, which I don't know what it is. So I can isolate for u2. So I'm going to subtract 1 and I'm going to subtract k. So 5 minus 1 is 4, and 3k minus k is 2k. So the second term is 4 plus 2k. So a lot of people got this one correct. And then the problem started with u3. So let's work on u3. So I know that S3 is u1 plus u2 plus u3. Okay, so I can plug in u1 and u2, but I already know that this is the same as S2. So S3 is the sum of the first two plus the third one, plus the third term. Okay, so S2, so let's replace what we know. S2 is 5 plus 3k, and then plus u3, and then S3, according to the information here, is 12 plus 7k. 12 plus 7k. Alright, so now again I'm going to isolate u3. So I'm going to subtract 5. So 12 minus 5 is 7, and I'm going to subtract 3k. So 7k minus 3k is 4k. And this is u3. Alright, no one got this one right. And then, excuse me, u4 is more of the same, okay? So u4 is going to be, excuse me. So I'm going to do the same thing. So S4 is going to be equal to the sum of the first three plus the fourth term. Okay? Which is the same idea that I did in the second one and in the first one. So S4 is 22 plus 15K is equal to S3, which is 12 plus 7K, and then plus the fourth term. All right, so I'm going to subtract 12 and I'm going to subtract 7K to isolate the fourth term. So 22 minus 12 is 10. And 15 minus 7 is 8. And this would be the fourth term. All right. Okay, so now part B. Find the general expression for U sub n. And basically, the main reason that everyone got this one wrong is because nobody got U3 and U4. So there was no way to find a general expression for it if you didn't even get these two, okay? So let's analyze UN, okay? So U1 is 1 plus K, U2 is 4 plus 2K, U3 is 7 plus 4K, and U4 is 10 plus 8K. So this is a tricky question because these terms are both arithmetic and geometric. You got to think of them in two parts. So one part is the number, the constant number, okay? If you notice, it follows an arithmetic sequence. So 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So the next one would be 13, then after that would be 16. So that's the number part. Now the K part. So K, the first one is K, the second one is 2K, the third one is 4K, the fourth one is 8K. So it looks like we're multiplying by 2. So that's a geometric sequence. Okay, the next one would be 16K, the next one would be 32K. All right? So let's so what is the common difference? The common difference is 3. I'm adding 3 to the number part. What is the common ratio? The common ratio is 2 because I'm adding 2. I'm not adding 2, sorry, multiplying by 2 every step. Okay, so it's both. There's an arithmetic part and a geometric part, and that's the reason that this question is a little bit tricky. So how do I write an arithmetic sequence? So the arithmetic sequence, I'm going to call it, let's say, W sub n is W1 plus n minus 1 d. And in this case, who is W1? It's 1. And plus n minus 1, and d is 3. Okay, there we go. Now, what about the geometric part? So I'm going to call that one Z sub n. So the geometric one is Z1 multiplied by R to the power of n minus 1. So who is Z1? It's K. Okay, that's the first term. Who is R? It's 2. And then n minus 1. Okay, so now UN, it's the sum of these two, the arithmetic part plus the geometric part. So again, this one is really tricky. So this would be 1 plus n minus 1 times 3 plus k times 2 to the n minus 1. Okay, so if you plug in 1, you would get 1 plus k. If you plug in 2, then you would get 7 plus 4k. I'm sorry, if you plug in 2, you would get 4 plus 2k. Sorry about that. And if you plug in 3, then you would get 7 plus 4k. And if you plug in 4, then you would get 10 plus 8k. Okay, so this is the general expression for U sub n. Okay, so we're going to take a look at point 6. In a high school, 160 students completed a questionnaire which asked for the number of people they were following on a social media website. The results were recorded in the following box and whisker diagram. Write down the median. So that one was pretty easy. Okay, the box and whisker plot, it's this line. And basically a lot of most of everyone got it right. Be careful with one thing. You have to be precise. There's 10 squares between 150 and 200, so that means that each square was worth 5. Okay, so be careful with that. But basically, this first part, a lot of people got it right. The problems began with 6b. So the following incomplete table shows a distribution of the responses from these 160 students. Complete the table. So if you add up these numbers, I think that you get 100, if I'm not mistaken. And so most people knew that the two missing numbers, in order to have 160 students, needed to add up to 60. But then, some people just put that they needed to add up to 60. Other people put 30 and 30. And that's about it. So no one got this question right. Or I think almost nobody got it right. And what you need to remember is that you have this information. Okay? So from 0 to 50, there's 4 people. From 50 to 100, blank. We don't know. But if you look at the box and whisker plot, from 0 to 100, that's the first quartile. And if you remember, a few things about quartiles is that they divide up the data in groups of 25%. So 25% of the total data is here between 0 and 100. 25% is between 100 and the median. There's another 25% between the median and 200, and between 200 and 300 is another 25%. So it divides up the group in 4 parts. Okay? So if there's 160 total students, and a quarter of those students have to be from 0 to 100, that means that from 0 to 100, there's 40 students. And there's already 4 between 0 and 50. So how many are between 50 and 100? 36. Okay? Because these two need to add up to 40. Because that's a quarter of the data. Okay? 1/4 of 160 is 40. Okay? So that's the first number. Now the second number down here works exactly the same way. So again, from 200 to 300, it's a quarter of the data. So we need to have, again, 40 students. All right? There's already 16 from 250 to 300. So 40 minus 16, 10 minus 6 is 4, 3 minus 1, 24. Okay, so this one was 36, and this one was 24. Now, another way of doing it, obviously, is once you get this one, then add up the numbers and subtract it from 160, and you're going to get 24 as well. All right? But the key part was to remember that this box and whisker plot, or quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, they divide up the data in 4 parts, each one containing 25% of the data points. Okay? And that's what that's where a lot of people got a little bit lost. Now, there was also some trouble with part C and part D. So write down the mid-interval value for 100, for the mid-interval value for the 100, 150 group. So if I'm not mistaken, all you have to do was add and divide by 2. So 100 plus 150 is 250, and then divide it by 2, which is 125, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and the last one, using the table, calculate an estimate for the mean number of people being followed on the social media website by these 160 students. So remember that the mean estimate comes from the class mark, or the mid point, the mid value for each one of these, and multiplying it by the frequency, adding, and then dividing by 160. So let's find like the mid intervals here. So the mid value here would be 25, and then 75, and then we go up by 50. So 125, 175, 225, and 275. And then do these multiplications. $25 times 4, 100. 75 multiplied by 36. So 6 times 5 is 30. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 3 is 45. 5 times 3 is 15, carry a 1. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1, 22. Okay, so 2700. $125 times 34. So some of these calculations are a little bit annoying. Alright, so I'm going to finish. I'm not going to put them all in the video, but I'm going to finish them. Okay, so here are the rest of the calculations. I did all of the products, and after you do the products, you add these numbers. I got 24,900, and then you divide 24,900 by 160. 24,900 by 160. You can cancel one of the zeros, so it becomes 2,490 divided by 16. And I didn't do all the division. Remember, you only have to do 3 significant figures. So the first decimal point gave me a 6. So you can round this up to 156. That's an estimate for the mean. Now these types of calculations are not common in a paper one. I wouldn't expect you to find something like this. At least part B should have been completed. Okay, and then so part C should have been completed, and then part D, it was, as you saw, if you do it by hand, it's a lot of hard work. It was only 2 marks. Okay, so this would have been like a good question to leave for the end. Okay, because there's a lot of work involved for only 2 marks. All right, all right, so we're also going to take a look at question 7. The histogram shows the time t in minutes that it takes the customers of a restaurant to eat their lunch on one particular day. Each customer took less than 25 minutes. The histogram is incomplete and only shows the data for the time between 0 and 20 minutes. So write down the mid-interval value for 10 to 15. So this was a question that a lot of people got right. A couple of people got wrong, but I want to go over it anyway. So the mid-interval value would be 10 plus 15 and then divided by 2. So 10 plus 15 is 25. 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. All right, let's take a look at part B. The mean time it took all customers to eat their lunch was estimated to be 12 minutes. It was found that K customers took between 20 and 25 minutes to eat their lunch. Write down the total number of customers in terms of K. Okay, so the total number of customers in terms of K. So remember, for this diagram, the way to find the estimate of the mean is to do the mid interval value multiplied by the frequency and then divide by the total. So for this first part, we only have to find the total number of customers. So let's figure out how many customers I have in the first couple of intervals. So this would be 10, this would be 8, this would be 5, and this one would be 10 as well. So this one is K. So the total number of customers is the sum of these numbers. 10 plus 8, 18, plus 5, 23, plus 10, 33, plus K. So this is the total number of customers in terms of K. Okay, so now we're going to do part C. So calculate the value of K. So for that, we're going to use the mean that they gave me here in the problem. It's 12. So what I'm going to do is calculate the mean. So remember that the mean is the mid-interval value multiplied by the frequency. We add those numbers together and then we divide by the total number of data points. So in this case, the mid-interval value here is 2.5 multiplied by 10 plus 7.5 multiplied by 8 plus 12.5 multiplied by 5 plus 17.5 multiplied by 10 plus 22.5 multiplied by k. Remember that this one is unknown. 22.5 times k. We divide it by the total number of data points, which from the last point we know is 33 plus k, and this is equal to 12. And we need to isolate for k. So of course I have to do all of these products. Alright, 2.5 times 10 is 25 plus 7.5 times 8. So 7.5 multiplied by 8. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 4, 60 with one decimal place. So 60. 12.5 times 5. So let's do 12.5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry a 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. Carry a 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1, 6. With one decimal. So 62.5. So plus 62.5. 17.5 times 10 is 175 plus 22.5k over 33 plus k, and this is equal to 12 again. Okay, so now let's do this sum. 25 plus 60 plus 62.5 plus 175. Okay, so this is 0.5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry a 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Plus 6 is 9. Plus 6 is 15. Plus 7 is 22. Carry a 2. And 2 plus 1 is 3. 322.5. So this is 322.5 plus 22.5k over 33 plus k equals 12. So I'm going to multiply this denominator. So I'm going to get 322.5 plus 22.5k is equal to 12 factor of 33 plus k. And let's distribute the 12. So 12 times 33. 33 times 2 is 6. 33 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 1 is 3. And 3 times 2 again 6. 3 times 1 is 3. So 693. This is 396 plus 12k is equal to 322.5 plus 22.5k, and this is a linear one. Okay, so I need to subtract. So I need to variables on one side, numbers on the other side. So I'm going to put the variables on the left. 22.5 minus 12 is 10.5k, and 396 minus 322. Okay, so 10 minus 5 is 5. I needed to borrow. 5 minus 2 is 3. 9 minus 2 is 7. Okay, 73.5. So K is 73.5 over 10.5. So let's do this division. Okay, so if I move the decimal to the right one, I get 735 divided by 105. Right, 100 goes into 700 more or less 7 times. So let's try the 7 and see what happens. All right, 7 times 5 is 35. Carry a 3. 7 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. 7 times 1 is 7, and it fits perfect. So that means K is equal to 7. Okay. And the last point, hence complete the histogram. So the histogram is for this last interval, there needs to be a bar at 7. There we go. That's it. Okay, we're going to look at question 8 to finish the video. So a large company surveyed 160 of its employees to find out how much time they spend traveling to work on a given day. The results of the survey are shown in the following cumulative frequency diagram. So find the median number of minutes spent traveling to work. So it's 160 employees. The median would be 160 times 1/2, which is 80. And 80, if we follow the line, intersects the cumulative frequency right here. So the median number of minutes is 40. Okay. All right. Find the number of employees whose traveling time was within 15 minutes of the median. So within 15 minutes would be 40 plus 15. So which would be 55 here, or 40 minus 15. So minus 10 minus 5, 25. Okay. So that would be here for this part would be here. And notice that between 10 and 20 there's 5 squares, so that means that each square is worth 2. So this is 18. Okay. And for 55, we need to go up a little bit more. Okay, for 55 it would be here, which is 142. So 142 minus 18. Uh, 12 minus 8 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2, and 124. All right, so now only 10% of the employees spend more than K minutes traveling to work. More than K minutes traveling to work. Find the value of K. So only 10%. So that's the top 10%. 10% of 160 is 16. So that means the top 10% would be 160 minus 16. So 160 minus 16 is 10 minus 6 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 144. And remember, these squares each count for 2. So 144 is here. So these are the employees that spend more than K minutes. So let's follow this line along. Okay, it's this 140 and up to right here. Right there. Okay, so let's follow that down. Okay, so here we go. It's here. And again, this would be from 50 to 60. There's 10 squares, so each one here counts for 1. So this would be 56. 56. Find the value of A. So A is quartile 1, which is 25%. So 25%, again, the total is 160 employees. 25% would be 1/4. So the 40th employee, that's what I'm looking for. The 40th employee. Where is the 40th employee? So here it is in the diagram. The 40th employee is right here. We follow that down. So 35, 34, 33. Okay? Okay, hence find the interquartile range. So the interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So 47 minus 33. 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So 14 is the interquartile range. Okay, and the last question. Traveling times of less than p minutes are considered to be outliers. Find the value of p. So one of the things that was in your book for the outliers was that if it's Q3 plus 1.5 IQR or Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. This is how you find the outliers. So less than p minutes. So what we're looking for, like the bottom part. So it would be Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. So let's my interquartile range is 14. So let's find 14 times 1.5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. So I get 210 with one decimal here, so 21. All right, so Q1 is 33, so it would be 33 minus 21. So let's do that. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1, so 12. Find the value of P is 12 minutes. Okay, everything below 12 minutes is going to be an outlier. And that's it.